From Inc.com, this is the Inc. Productivity Tip. Expert opinions, valuable insight, and helpful advice from today's top business coaches, thought leaders, and entrepreneurs. As a card-carrying member of Gen X, I have a very soft spot, heck, let's just call it love, for Generation Z. There's simply a lot there to like and to have empathy for. One, they're still kind of sorting it out, but they have a pretty healthy attitude toward work. I know it's a struggle and a tough time, but I have a sense that Generation Z largely embraced the idea that you don't necessarily have to adhere to someone else's timeline for your life. Lots of sympathy for them for having had the COVID era right in the middle of what should have been their growing up years. Gen Z covers about 15 years, born between 1997 and 2012. But the idea of having to have gone to school or college or to try to start a work life or find a partner when the whole world was shut down at times must have been very difficult. So it's for reasons like these that I kind of sit up and take notice when I see some stats that suggest Generation Z is struggling in some ways. And as an entrepreneur and just someone who likes people, it makes me want to help. So here's a generation with a real problem, and here's the opportunity for anyone paying attention to help solve it. A recent Harris poll found the following, and especially about how a lot of Generation Z are apparently spending their time. 51% of Gen Z say they feel lonely on a typical weekend, the highest of any generation, and 37 points higher than boomers. Nearly half say they do not have enough friends to spend time with in person, while 65% say they experience their social life more through their phone than IRL, or in real life. The top reasons for staying home, 49% say it's to save money, 47% say it's to recharge physically and mentally, 40% to stay in a familiar environment, 34% to avoid social interactions, and 32% say it's to escape emotions. Oh, and screens definitely dominate. 71% watch TV or stream or game at least half their weekends. 69% doom scroll, 38% game or stream every single weekend. So, you see what I mean? We're not here to criticize, but to see if we can help. And as an entrepreneur, to brainstorm ways that we can address these kinds of needs. Actually, two more bits of data that might help from the same survey. Wellness has replaced the bar. 65% feel more socially connected in wellness-focused settings than in traditional nightlife. When you split out just Gen Z women, that number goes up to 70%. 3/4 of Gen Z women skew hard toward wanting alcohol-optional experiences, with 82% preferring low-pressure situations. As for what they actually want, according to the study, 79% want more affordable ways to spend time with others. 77% want built-in activities beyond just sitting and talking. 76% want casual, low-pressure atmospheres and quieter, less overwhelming environments. 54% prefer daytime over nighttime activities, and 68% want more spontaneous moments to meet people or make friends. Add all of that up, and there's just so much opportunity to be seen. Now, go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you'll see that things like friendships, family connections, intimacy, and community are mid-tier requirements, coming in just behind things like personal security and protection from harm. And it almost seems like an entire generation, by the numbers, says we're not, as a society, doing enough to help them satisfy those needs. Also, nearly 50% of Gen Z employees report feeling stressed a lot of the day, per Gallup, more than any other generation in the workplace. And more than 70% of Gen Z said they sleep with their phones within reach, and half say they check them automatically if woken during the night. I don't know, it just seems we have a generation telling us exactly what they need in order to be happier and more successful. Someone once said a new business needs to offer a compelling solution to a deeply felt customer need. Gen Z is here telling us some of their deeply felt needs. It feels like that brings us halfway there. Affordable, low-pressure, built-in activities, daytime, alcohol optional. That seems like a pretty smart starting point. Whoever listens to this and has that light bulb moment will do something better with it than, I will. And frankly, it might be better if that person is themselves Gen Z and not someone old enough to be their dad. The kids are all right. Now it's either on the rest of us or it's an excellent opportunity to help them get even better. That's all for today. This article featured journalism from Bill Murphy Jr. For more expert opinions from today's top business coaches and thought leaders, go to Inc.com/lead. Be sure to come back tomorrow for another helpful tip from Inc.